Hello everyone, this is Amy Rich with amyrich.net and I am Stampin' Nut. I am excited to be here because one of my favorite stamp sets for a long time, my friends, features three things that I love most. Now, I don't love coffee, so that is not why I bought the stamp set, although I know a lot of people are. But cocktails, chocolate, and cookies, yes, those are for me, and probably in that order. All right, so I am going to make this fun card using the dies, which are the Love You More Than dies. And these two items come in a bundle at 10% off, which is so fun. I love that Stampin' Up! Does that. And I'm also going to feature some rainbow glimmer paper, and that is new in our catalog. You can see I made a bunch of these using the oranges and the yellows, but you can kind of get a feel for what that whole sheet of rainbow glimmer paper looks like when you see it all together there. Love it so much. And I'm going to make a cocktail that's more of the blues and purples. So we are going to make a cocktail card today, and I'm going to start with our Gorgeous Grape cardstock, which is cut actually 4 1/4 by 11. And then when you fold that in half, and I like to give it a nice crease with my bone folder, then it opens kind of the long way, sideways. All right, then we're going to do something funky with this paper and bring out our paper trimmer. I'm going to lay the cardstock down at 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to take my cutting blade and put it down in the middle of the card, right at the folded scored line, and I'm going to cut out like that to create 2 flaps. And then you can either take your scissors or the paper trimmer again to trim off that flap. So I'm going to use my paper trimmer. I'm just going to line up that fold along the cutting groove and just go up to that cut line, and that cuts it right off like that. Now, to see where to go with it, the Stampin' Up! Blade has a little line on it here. That's the center of the, or that's the edge of the, or the center of the blade. And when you line that up, that's where the long part of the blade is going to poke into the paper. So I use those as my guide to know when to drop the tray down and cut. So that's kind of the long and the short of how I did this. Now I'm going to take my piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and this is cut at 2.5 by 5 1/4. Let me just double check that. I want to make sure. 2.5 by 5 1/4. And it is embossed, if you can see that, with the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. That's kind of a mouthful. But then we're going to add adhesive and adhere that to the front part of our card. And then we're going to take our 2-inch circle punch, and you got to have a little muscle for this if you're gonna go through both layers. And you can do one layer at a time, but I'm just going to do both. You put the punch in about halfway, so you can see it's about halfway in, and not quite to the edge of the Bermuda Bay cardstock. And then you really muscle it out of there so that you've got a little hitch there. All right, then we are going to take our Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to adhere that to the inside of our card. And then using our Gorgeous Grape pad and a foam mat underneath, because this stamp set is a photopolymer set, we got to have that little bit of give. we're going to stamp cocktails to the left there. That's pretty sharp looking. And then we'll take the Bermuda Bay ink pad and we're going to stamp Because Adulting is Hard. I recently did a Stamp Together Saturday card with the same stamp set, and I made a coffee card, and I used the same Because Adulting is Hard stamp just because I think it's so fun. Then we'll grab the glimmer paper that I cut and our cocktail stamp, and you'll notice that the cocktail stamp is stained a little bit. That's because I'm using Stays-On ink. I like how the Stays-On stamps on this glimmer paper, but it will stain your stamp. So we're going to ink that up, and I want a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue, a little bit of Bermuda Bay-ish color in there, and you can see that that stamps pretty well on there. What I love about our glimmer paper is that the glitter doesn't come off. So the glitter is attached to the paper, and it's really easy to work with, and you don't have glitter all over yourself when you're done. Now I'm going to take those dies, and I'll grab the cocktail die out of there and crank that out in my die cutting machine. And what you get is this really fun cocktail. Isn't that great? I love it so much. Next, I'm just going to take some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'll flip that over and attach these mini dimensionals on the back. And actually, for this part on the bottom, I'm just going to take a scissors and snip off just part of the little edge of our dimensionals so that I can get it even skinnier. And that goes at the base of the glass. And now we remove all the paper. And this goes right in here. And look at how that all coordinates so beautifully. So what I love about that rainbow glimmer paper is that you can use whatever portion of it you want that will look good with your project. The final finishing touch is our polka dot ribbon. And it's a tool, more of a tool. And I'm just going to kind of guess here how much I need. And then we will tie it in a bow. I love this polka dot. Now don't pull it tight until it's the length you want, because once you pull it tight, it's a little tricky to get it fixed, you know, if you want to mess with the loops a little. All right, and then we'll just trim that down a little. Brand new paper snips. Notice it's great for ribbon also. And there you've got yourself a super cute card. And I just wanted to also share the other color. Isn't that great? Oh my gosh, such fun, amazing cards, and that glimmer paper does most of the work. It's fantastic. Thank you for joining me for this amazing project. And you know, if you're not into cocktails, I'm sure you can come up with something else to use that glimmer paper for. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time.